Hey guys, E10 here from SunBros, and today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys another how to build video as we cover the tank Mina. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know, if you guys enjoy the content, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and of course check out our other stuff like our top 5 videos, our how to build videos, and our Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday night live streams. Alright guys, and as we get started, as always, we're going to be starting on Mina's hero page. We're going to go over a little bit about what she does, what her abilities are like, and what her toolkit is, so we get an idea on how to best build her to utilize her strengths, kind of mask some of those weaknesses, and make her as an efficient hero and tank as possible. We'll start off with her passive, Sweet Revenge. As you guys can see, it's when taking damage, Mina has a chance to counterattack, dealing damage, and part of that damage is based on her maximum HP. So it's good to know. Health is a pretty important part of her kit. Her first ability, Whirling Scythe, does the same thing. She swings her scythe in an arc, dealing damage, and it is again based off of her total maximum HP. Your second ability is Death Scythe. Mina pulls enemies to her with her scythe, dealing damage and slowing enemies down. And last but not least is her ultimate, Dark Dominion. Mina taunts nearby enemies, making them attack her for 2 seconds, and damage dealt by taunted enemies is reduced by 50%. Alright, so the cooldown on this one is 16 at level 3. On the second ability, it's 9 at level 6, and on the first ability, it is 5 at level 6. Okay, so cooldown reduction is definitely something we're going to consider heavily building on Mina, for the fact that the majority of her kit, that what makes Mina really special on who she is the cooldown reduction. And if we get 40% cooldown reduction on Mina, that ultimate will have less than a 10-second cooldown, which is just outrageous because it's so strong and powerful. So be able to cast it, do it for 2 seconds, and then be able to cast it again. Some team fights you'll be able to do that 2 or 3 times, which is just crazy strong. So the first item we're gonna build is the Aegis, and we always kind of have to make a decision. The Aegis and Shields of the Lost have the same unique passive, Spirit Bond, and even though they're slightly different in the way that they operate, you always kind of have to make a decision about which one of those 2 items you're going to take, because the passives do not stack. In this case, we're taking the Aegis first because we want to get to 40% cooldown reduction fairly speedy if we can, and this is going to help us get started along the way. So we're going to take the Aegis first for the 20% cooldown reduction. The mana is really more or less inconsequential. The armor is nice to have, and of course Spirit Bond. When taking damage, the attackers get their attack speed reduced by 30% and their movement speed by 15% for 3 seconds. It's a pretty significant debuff, and it's a pretty awesome item. Essentially, that's kind of how that works. If you need cooldown reduction with these 2 items, you take the Aegis, and if you want to be more tanky, you take Shield of the Lost. They're both excellent items, and I recommend each of those items to be in every single main tank build that you make. Next, we're going to be taking boots, and we're going to go ahead and just go straight to flashy boots. It'd be really nice to build something like Sonic Boots or Gilded Greaves, but we don't need Gilded Greaves because she's really not apt to be crowd controlled. She's very, very tanky. Not really a massive issue it is with her, all like it is on many heroes. Sonic Boots would be really nice, but she's already very, very tanky, and I believe that the route to take with her is to get Flashy Boots for the cooldown reduction so that we can take different tank items in the future of the build. So these are the first 2 items we're going to go, and then what we're going to notice right here right now as we go back to defense is that we have a bit of a lack of magic defense. In essence, we have none so far, and we want to definitely get at least some to be able to deal with those mages and our supports. So what we're going to do is we have a couple options. We could go for Gaia Standard, which gives you magic defense, HP, movement speed, and a pretty nice passive. And we have Medallion's Troy, which is 10% cooldown reduction, magic defense, health, and a shield. Both of those are pretty good. We also, of course, have Hyoga's Edge, which gives us both. And we have... That's really the main items we have that give magic resistance. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to take Gaia Standard. I'll tell you why. Even though it only has 100 more health than a Medallion of Troy, I love the passive on Mina, and it adds to her crazy overall tankiness. I love the fact that you can get some health back every 10 seconds when you're taking damage. I mean, it makes her really tanky, and I feel like this item fits very well with the next item we're going to tank, which is going to be Crimson Banner. Crimson Banner is a super item because not only does it give you a good amount of armor, but it gives you 1500 maximum HP, which is a pretty good amount. I think it's second most of all the all the defensive items in the game, not including Leviathan, which is the jungle item, at full build. But the passive is great too. It restores 20% of your HP over 5 seconds after earning a kill or assist. So you actually have the potential to earn that twice in a fight, along with Gaia Standard's passive. So you could potentially be earning up to, I mean, you could earn up to what, 56% of your health in a longer team fight. I mean, 40% from Crimson Banner, and I think it's 8% twice. They both have 10-second cooldown, so you could literally get 56% of your health back during a longer extended team fight, which makes it a pretty good combination. Then we're going to be switching up to Frost Cape. The reason we're going Frost Cape here is because it finishes up our 40% cooldown reduction, which is really nice to have. Also, we get more armor and more health, but the passive is actually pretty solid on Mina. It says Frost Power, the unique passive Frost Power, after using an ability, the next normal attack reduces movement speed by 30% and deals extra damage. So we're getting reduced movement speed from Frost Power, which is 30%, and we're getting some, of course, on the Aegis, which is 15%. So combined, that's a 45% reduction in movement speed, which is part of her overall crowd control-y monster effect that she has with her ultimate and her second ability. Okay, and then so the kind of combination is nice. Obviously, we get our full cooldown reduction, our health, and even more armor. But overall, it's a pretty nice item for her. She's going to be able to do it really well in combination. Whenever she pulls somebody in, she can hit them to slow them, then ult them, and keep them really trapped there for a good solid 3 to 4 seconds. It's actually pretty crazy how good it is. And last but not least, we're going to be taking a very questionable item, and I'm joking, not very questionable at all. It's Amulet of Longevity. And the reason why is pretty simple. 1700 HP is a crap ton. You also get your maximum HP increased by 10% via the second passive, Longevity. And of course, healing increase is nice. It's not really something we're going to go for, but it is going to make a difference if we have, you know, like a Pure or a Magog or something like that. So anyways, what we end up having with this build, let's do a little bit of math real quick. We actually don't get any health on our first item, which is kind of like, okay, you know, health is one of the things that we really want to go for on Mina. And one of the reasons we build health on her so strongly is because of her ultimate. We're going to be able to do her ultimate every like 8 to 9 seconds. And for 2 seconds, all the people she, you know, gets to taunt her, or that she taunts and attack her via taunt, do 50% less damage. So by building health and building a little bit less armor and magic resist that maybe we normally would on some heroes, we're actually avoiding a mitigating effect on that. So the more armor you have, the more physical damage that you actually get reduced. And when her ultimate is going off and reducing the damage, the more damage that you would generally be taking from those people, the more you can actually reduce via the ultimate, which, like I said, endgame you'll be casting all the time. So let's see, health wise though, we're getting 1100, 2600, 3400 plus 1700 is 5100 plus 10%. So we're looking at 5660 about. So that's pretty good, guys. It's a pretty good amount of HP, of extra HP from the build. Plus we're getting some nice tanky stats, and of course our full 40% cooldown reduction, which was, as we discussed, a must-have on her. So this is our build for Mina, and I want to go over a couple things real quick. Obviously, situationally, at the end of the game, we're going to be looking at selling our boots, and I want to make sure that I give you guys an option of what to do with that. I haven't done that in all my how to build videos, but I want to make sure that we start discussing it. With this build that we're currently building, there's not really any other items besides boots you're going to sell and trade out for anything else, unless there's something extreme going on. But what I want you guys to do if you sell your boots endgame is decide between 2 items. If there is 2 or more magic damage dealers on the enemy team and they're causing you problems, I want you to go ahead and buy Medallion of Troy. If there is not more, if you don't have any that issue, then I'm going to go ahead and say to build Hyoga's Edge. Hyoga's Edge is kind of a nice little all-around item, and I find it to be very effective. Plus 1200 HP, of course, fits into our narrative of building a lot of health. That is what I would suggest to do once you sell your boots. But this is going to be a really solid overall build on her that's going to allow you to do those abilities like crazy. You're going to be able to spam all of her abilities because the cooldowns are going to be so low with a 40% cooldown reduction. She's also going to be so tanky that she's going to be really difficult to kill. And essentially, because of the combination of abilities, anyone that you decide to go after is going to be perma insta-lock crowd control. We got 45% slow from the items that we have. We have, you know, our regular slow from our second, which is 50%, and of course our ultimate, which is the massive taunt. So Mina is going to be able to do what she does most effectively, which is crowd control, because of cooldown reduction in her items for longer, because we made her so tanky and we avoided getting a lot of that mitigating effects from her items that would have affected how much damage reduction her ultimate did. And overall, this is a really solid build, and I know you guys are going to like it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, remember the thumbs up, and of course, we always appreciate you guys being a part of the community. If you enjoy the how to build videos and you want to, you know, chat more about that kind of stuff, get into the SunBros Discord channel. We always talk about interesting topics, conversation. We always find people to play with, and it's a really good time. The link is going to be in the description. And yeah, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and as always, until next time,